Chapter 12. Josh rubbed his stomach. I think I'm gonna explode, he said. Gee, why? Asked Rose, eyeing the two empty pizza boxes on Dink's picnic table. You only ate 10 pieces. Josh fed his last crust to Paul under the table. 9 pieces, Josh said, grinning at Dink. I wanted to save room for dessert. There's no dessert, Dink said. Not until we found out who took those baseballs. I wonder if Officer Fallon found any luck, Ruth said. Maybe the crook already sold them, Josh said. Where would he sell them? Josh asked. Well, if it were me, I'd use the internet, but he said the crook would reach millions of people at the same time. A lot of people shop online with Ubuy, Ruth said. Yeah, they sell all kinds of stuff, Nick said. Do any of you guys know how to use Ubuy? I sure don't. Me neither, Josh said, but Mrs. McClory said she does. The library closes at 6, Ruth said. Why don't we go see her? Dink checked his watch. We've got 10 minutes. Come on. The 4 kids and Paul trotted to Main Street, then down to West Green Street. It was 1 minute to 6 when they ran up to the library steps. Mrs. McClory was still sitting at her desk when they hurried inside. Hi there. I was just ready to close, she said. Do you need something? The kids introduced Buddy, then quickly explained their idea. And do you think that the thief would try to buy the baseballs on Ubuy? She asked. It would be the fastest way, wouldn't it? Buddy asked. Well, online shopping is fast, Mrs. McClure said. Could we try? Dink asked. Sure, why not? Mrs. McClure said. She booted up her computer, clicked on internet, and typed in ubuy.com. A few minutes later, they were all looking at Ubuy's homepage. Look, there's a place to type in where you want to buy, Josh said. Should we type in baseballs? That would give us too many choices, Mrs. McClure said. How about we try autograph the baseballs? She typed in the words. Seconds later, a window popped telling her that there were about 50 possibilities. How do we choose? Dink asked. We need to be more specific, Mrs. McClure said. Do you know whose signatures Mr. Pocket had? One ball was signed by Babe Ruth. Ruth said. Okay, said Mrs. McClory, and scrolled back up and typed in baseball signed by Ruth. A new window popped up. It says there were 1 Babe Ruth ball for sale. Mrs. McClory clicked, and there was a picture of a baseball. Babe Ruth's signature was clearly visible. Next to the picture were these words, buy this baseball signed by great Babe Ruth. Other autographed baseballs available. Does that look like Mr. Pocket's balls? The 4 kids leaned closer to her computer screen. I don't know, Dink said. Why don't we call Mr. Pocket? Ruth suggested. We should also call Miss Officer Fallon, Dink said. He pointed to the screen. If this is the thief, Officer Fallon should be the first to know. This is exciting, Miss McClure said, reaching for the telephone. A few minutes later, Officer Fallon and Mr. Pocket hurried into the library. Mr. Pocket put on his glasses and leaned close to the monitor. That's my baseball, he announced. How can you tell? Officer Fallon asked, also peering at the picture. Look closely, Mr. Pocket said. Right above Babe's signature, there's a dent in the ball. That's where his bat struck. Babe Ruth signed this ball for my father personally. Everyone moved closer to the screen. I see it, Officer Fallon said. But a lot of used baseballs would have buttons, won't they? But not in the same place, Mr. Pocket insisted. When I held the ball in my hands, I'd be sure. Why don't you buy the ball? Dink suggested to Mr. Pocket. Have the thief mailed today to you. Then once you have it, Officer Fallon can arrest the guy and get your money back. It won't work, Buddy said. The guy will be suspicious if someone who lives in Green Lawn tries to buy the ball. This is where he stole it. Buddy's right, Officer Fallon said, and our thief may very well live in this town. So what do we do? I have a suggestion, Ruth said. Email the guy saying you want to buy the baseball, then ask him where you should send the check. And if he's really does live around here, you can go arrest him right now, Dink said. Yeah, George said with a grin. The dude will probably be sitting at his computer when you ring his doorbell. They all looked at each other. Then Officer Fallon nodded at Mr. McElroy. She clicked a small window that said, Buy now for $1,000. Under the window was a space to type a reply. $1,000 bucks, Josh squeaked. Okay, Mrs. McElroy said. Let's reel this fish in. Officer Fallon said. Mrs. McElroy typed a message that said, I wish to buy the Babe Ruth baseball. Please email me your address and I'll send $1,000 immediately. I may want to buy other balls as well. Good job, Officer Fallon said. 7 sets of eyes stared at the computer screen. Come on, take the bait, muttered Mr. Pocket. A few seconds later, Mrs. McElroy checked her mailbox and there was a message. Send your check to Ted Gundy, 13 Boxwood Lane, Green Lawn City, 06040. Gotcha, said Officer Fallon as he headed for the window. And that is the end of chapter 12. I wish the thief is captured, and I really wish the umpire Pete gets out of jail, please. See you next time with chapter 13. Bye!